Well, after that talk, there's not a lot I feel I could say. That was good. Um, One thing that came to mind was that story about how that yogi who had a lot of power and he wanted to pass his power on to, was it his disciple actually? Huh? Yeah. He decided someone was worthy of his powers because he was going to pass on. So he said he put all his powers in some stones and that he is now going to bestow it onto this worthy soul. And the worthy soul took the stones and threw them in the river. And, of course, shocked the guy who, had just given all his powers into these stones. But the whole point is this yogi had put so much energy into having special powers. And the other yogi was much more into devotion and loving God. And when we have that open heart and devotion, then the powers are not foremost on our mind, and shouldn't even be a part of it, because that's where the ego gets hooked. Just one of the ways, there's thousands of ways the ego can be hooked. And so in this case, what I notice happens in India, in America, people get hooked by power, like worldly power, where I'm a magnetic person and listen to me and I will now tell you what to do, that kind of a thing. I guess it's kind of a guru complex, but it seems more materialistic the way it's practiced there. But, someone who becomes a meditator and everything, then I'm great because I meditate and because I'm magnetic, and that can. What I find happens here is, just around the corner, there could be a guru that actually has real powers and real self-realization, and so it's a lot more realistic to think, well, maybe I have that too. I've been meditating, and I've had some experiences. And so, you know what? Maybe I'm quite advanced. And people get very concerned about being advanced. And I think it's because you can see just down the street, there's a really advanced soul there, and we want to be there. It's common sense to say, I want to be that. But to think, maybe I am, comes from the ego, and it's very important to dispel that because it blocks the energy. When Dharmarajan was talking about getting rid of criticalness, why do we get rid of criticalness? Because it closes the heart. Because when we're critical, we're contracted and the mind is closed. And when our heart is open, the mind is open, our heart is open, and we are open to receive blessings and love and joy, which is more, it's more a sign of advancement than any kind of power or, mental agility and trying to point out problems in other people. So it's very important to just keep the heart open. Whatever behavior it is, ego is always contractive. So that guy that put his powers in the stones, he certainly had enough advancement to have the powers, and that couldn't be given from lifetime after lifetime. You can be born with good intuition. You can be born with the ability to influence others because your aura is strong, because in past lives maybe you did stuff. That's fine. But if it's used in a material way, which means I am great now because I have it, or I am now bestowing it onto you, that kind of a thing. That's contractive. As soon as we say, I must be great, I've been meditating, I must be great, the energy is like this. The energy is not like this. The advancement of the yogi is not thinking I. The yogi doesn't think, I am great. The yogi who actually is advanced says, wow, isn't God great flowing through? Wow, this feels really wonderful. And I hope that through my kriyas, burning up karma, and through my love of the divine, and the closer I feel to my guru and divine mother and Swamiji, and the closer I feel, the more I hear their voice in my ear, the more I get guidance, the more my heart is overflowing with bliss and love. That really is the advancement of the yogi. It's not, well, I've been meditating for a couple years now, or 5 years, or 8 or 10, and so therefore I must have some kind of respect for that. Give it to me. There's a new kind of hierarchy that happens. It's not age, it's how long you've been meditating. And so that's a bad, any kind of hierarchy based on that kind of a thing. I'm not saying not respect for the elder, please. Yes, respect for elders. I'm talking more about for accomplishment. Then as soon as we want that acknowledgement and respect for how long I have been doing this, that makes, first of all, that's contractive, but also that is focusing on the outside of us, focusing out there, as opposed to focusing on God within. So we want to, as soon as we hear, well, maybe I, just say, never mind. Come on, ego. Stop it. Come on. Get back in line. Come on. We don't need to do that. Give yourself a semi-pep talk. Like, come on. We can open the heart. Let's focus on opening the heart. Let's focusing on giving love to others rather than just wanting it back. Let's focus on some we all get into contractive states. We all do. So, how can we get out of it? Certainly, chanting is just such a wonderful way to do it. Surround yourself with music of the gurus. Just surround yourself with it. And try and just remove the thoughts from the head and just be in the moment. And when you're chanting, it's very easy to be in the moment. Also, doing healing prayers for others. It's so easy to just be in the moment, sending energy to others to help them. Not, I am sending energy. It's like, Master, I'm open, and if you want to send energy through me, because the guru needs channels, then I am here to humbly send whatever energy you send through me. It's always funny in some superhero movies when they're like trying to stop the train, and Master, when he actually did do miracles, it was like, dink, that's what happened. So that was because he really had those powers, but it was not from ego. It's because he was an avatar, and I guess he earned his self-realization and nirvikalpa samadhi in the right way. That's why we need gurus, because they've done it all in the right way. And what a wonderful thing we have, all of these gurus. And I was mentioning Christ because he's a very important guru that we have, and very often we don't talk about him much because of the stigma that happens. But if we can just say, look, it's not about organized religion. He's just a guru like all the rest. And was one of the ones that helped start this movement, because he came to Babaji, and together they said, let's re-energize Dwapara Yuga with Kriya Yoga. So a wonderful thing from our gurus. It's just such a blessing. And it's a blessing to be back with you all, and to see your shining eyes. It's hard to see any smiles, but I can at least see some shining eyes. Someday we'll be through this, who knows? Where's that other wave? I don't know if it's happened. Now monkeypox is the problem. Anyway, at some point we will not need these masks either, but when we talk to doctors about it, that's how we get our advice. And so not quite yet. But anyway, so wonderful to be together and to have this group energy that happens. There's a whole worldwide movement of not going outside the house, not going to work, not going out, out much, because, hey, we got Dunzo, we have all sorts of things. But you want to make sure that if you aren't going out, that your energy is not down, because the spiritual path requires high energy. It requires, when we come together, our energy raises. And I know for me, and this has happened my whole life at Ananda, is Sunday satsang is incredibly important to attend. First of all the devotees, who cares who's meditated how long and what class you're in or anything like that, all the devotees are just devotees together and sharing that energy and giving spiritual support and creating friendships. That's spiritual community. It became very clear to Dharmarajan and I that we are here in Chennai to help create a physical community. And though we have some beautiful online friends who are from the UK and things like that, we are here to create a physical community where people come to this center and share a community energy. That's our purpose for being here in Chennai. And like I said, of course, even Kriya classes and things like that are also online and things like that. But that physical community is so important for people's spiritual growth. It's important for our spiritual growth, for everybody's spiritual growth, to be in this temple and to continue to grow, and more students continue to come. We transitioned from online to live, and it's been pretty smooth. We kind of, towards the end, I think even online people got sick of online, And so anyway, now people are starting to come, and it's just a joy. I think we've all forgotten a little bit how to be social when, but really we got to just bite the bullet and come and go, oh yeah, now I remember what it feels like. And now I remember how powerful this is. We're hoping that over the months, as more and more people kind of wake up and decide to come out of their house, they're going to come to satsang and feel Master's presence. And it's good growth to be around other people who have similar beliefs or desires for God, because that's a magnetism that really helps raise everybody's consciousness together. It doesn't mean everybody has the same personality or the same likes and dislikes or the same even cultural background, Of course, Ananda is casteless. Nobody cares where anybody is from. And so disciples can come together. You can form friendships. You can support each other through the good times and the bad times and not have to be perfect. It's a place where you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the best meditation practice. You don't have to have the best attitudes of a disciple all the time. Everybody's working on it in their own way. Everybody is here to be in a safe environment where they can grow and trust and feel as though I may not be perfect, but I'm doing my best. And I'm coming here and sharing, and hey, there's a few people that I really like that I want to become friends with. And then that friendship grows over time. And you realize when you meditate with other people, you develop a spiritual bond that is beyond personality. And just one example, there was a singing group I was a part of for a while, and quite a few people did not get along at all. But they sang beautifully together. And it was a great example of how sometimes personality doesn't work out, but because everybody meditated together, there was a beautiful harmony that was deeper and more spiritual than just a little bit of disharmony from personality. And so that spiritual harmony is what gets created in physical community when we're together in that way. So anyway, here's to less pandemic and more community. Thank you, everybody.